Oh man, this story is still unfolding and it is really heartbreaking because the shots rang out on campus. This was in the middle of the day on a college campus, Brown, Ivy League. It wasn't late at night. I don't think it was off campus. I think it was, no, it was like, I thought it was like 4 in the morning, not in the middle of the day. It was like 4 something in the morning. And it was, I have a friend whose son goes to Brown and was just 2 blocks away and they were on lockdown. It's where these kids live and learn. Okay, here's the report.
Overnight, a stunning development in the ongoing investigation into the deadly shooting at Brown University.
We know that this is likely to cause fresh anxiety for our community.
Authorities releasing the man they had detained and initially called a person of interest in the shooting that killed 2 and left 9 injured.
We didn't have enough, obviously, to be able to prosecute anybody, and so the person was released.
Hours before the announcement, I spoke with the police chief.
How confident are you that you have the suspect?
I'm pretty confident.
On Saturday, authorities released this surveillance video that shows the potential shooter walking away from the crime scene. Police say the unidentified subject in that video remains a person of interest in this case. This new video shows terrified students hiding in the library before police stormed the room. The shooting occurred Saturday afternoon inside an academic building on the Ivy League campus as students were studying for final exams.
There's people rushing past me, but I didn't realize what was going on.
Brown University junior Amith Chintalapati was walking through campus when he saw his classmate lying on the ground shot.
How did you comfort your friend?
Just kept telling him he was okay and to breathe and just wait for the EMTs to arrive.
His classmate is in stable condition and recovering in the hospital. And now the victims being remembered. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt sharing a tribute to student Ella Cook. Cook's church also honoring her on Sunday.
She was an incredible, grounded, faithful, bright light.
And so there are 2 students that are dead. 9 others are injured in this. Young people should not be worried about this. They should be worried about finals, about papers, about, oh, my grades, about dating, whether their flight home is going to be delayed, about seeing their families for Christmas or Hanukkah or the winter break. That's what they should be worrying about. And instead, they are running, they're hiding, they're locking their doors, they're sending texts to say that, I'm okay, and hoping that they get back. So as you saw in the report, they briefly detained a person of interest and then they released them. And right now there's still uncertainty as I am reporting this. Let me know if there's something else. Maybe there's an update, but there's still uncertainty and there's still fear here. And there should be fear because in these situations, there are people, these kids, some of them survived high school shootings. And then it happened to them again in college. There's one young lady who survived the Parkland shooting. Watch.
I'm numb, but I'm also really angry. I think the sadness will set in when we, get all the victims identified and find out who we lost as a community. But right now, I'm just angry that there's kids like me in this country who have had to go through this not once, but twice. I can't even put into words how frustrating it is. And I think that the common denominator around all of that is inaction on the part of Congress. I think that we've seen time and time again, Congress has failed to show that they actually care about their constituents. And if they did, they would immediately pass comprehensive gun violence prevention bills. The first person I called was my mom, which was the same thing that happened with Parkland. Just seeing her go through those emotions all over again makes me feel so bad for her. And I think it feels like I'm 12 again. And I think it feels like it's 2018 again for my family as well. We're going through the exact same emotions.
That fear does not disappear just because the sirens stop, just because the news cameras go away. It doesn't just, and time doesn't make that fear disappear. Can you imagine the students are trying to sit in classrooms while their bodies are still on high alert? and knowing that some of their classmates or friends may be gone, and then finding out later. That makes every noise that you hear louder, and probably every stranger they feel suspicious, and every time you're in a place, you probably are looking around. And so that student from Parkland isn't the only one. There's also a college student from California also survived a high school shooting, and then this one here.
I was 15 years old on November 14th of 2019. I was a freshman at Saugus High School. I walked into the school like every other day, and a student I didn't know brought his father's .45 caliber ghost gun and shot me and 4 others before killing himself in a matter of 8 seconds.
When the shooting at Brown occurred, how did you hear about it?
Kind of in my head, there was no chance there was actually a shooter. It was when we got hundreds of texts saying active shooter on campus, active shooter on campus. We knew it was real. I was terrified and confused and kind of just disgusted that this could happen not only once in a lifetime, but twice. All acts of gun violence are completely 100% preventable. To know that this has happened twice in 2 different communities I've been a part of is terrible. I came to Brown because I wanted to get away from what had happened to me, and I wanted to be able to live my life without constantly thinking about this, and now it's followed me here. I was one of the people talked about in a press conference 6 years ago in critical condition, and now there's 8 more of those, and I'm scared for Brown's community. I'm scared to continue my education. How is anyone supposed to learn if they're afraid they're going to be shot?
And this is where guns and mental health intersect in a very, very real way. We talk about gun violence like it is separate from mental health. It is not. And we can handle both of them. We talk about mental health like it's like an excuse for this. Mental health is not an excuse for this. But I can tell you, more so than mental health, we can deal with mental health, but on top of the mental health, we have something that is very wrong and backwards in this country. Because on top of the mental health, we have people who have access to guns who should not. And we have so many guns, more guns than there are people in America. And if you look at the rate of gun violence here, it doesn't happen in any other developed nation. It's only here. And the only difference is the guns. Every different place on earth has mental health. Every single place on earth has mental health. Every single health issues. Every single place. Every single place on earth has stress, worry, anxiety, depression. Human beings, that's part of being a human being. But not every place on earth has so many guns and such easy access. And so we talk about addiction like it's a moral failure. It is not. These things are connected. And this is happening right now before the holidays at the time when anxiety and depression are already spiking, especially for young people. And we just ask them to push through it. Finish your exams. Be resilient. But resilience doesn't mean that you are unaffected. It just means that you're surviving. And then there is Australia. This happened on Bondi Beach. I don't know if you've ever been to Australia. Bondi Beach is big. Australia, it's like a huge place that everyone goes or whatever. It's like, I don't know, I guess the equivalent of going to Venice Beach or going to Miami. I don't know. On Bondi Beach, people gather to celebrate Hanukkah. Families, children, candles, right? A moment about light and faith and survival, and then violence erupts. And let me be very clear about this. This is anti-Semitic. There's no dancing around that. People are killed, dozens are injured. And what stands out as this reporting, to me, is that there is a hero in all of this. Because even though it's anti-Semitism that is believed to be the cause of this, or at least what spurred this is not an indictment on all Muslims, because this is a man who was not Jewish and was believed to be Muslim, who helped to save lives and was shot in the process. There is a man there. He sees what's happening. He runs toward it. He helps disarm one of the gunmen, and then he stops more people from being killed. Do we have the video of him?
It's in the report.
Okay, here's the report.
Australia's Jewish community in mourning and the nation in shock after a seaside celebration of the Festival of Light became one of the darkest days in Australian history. Two gunmen opened fire on a peaceful Hanukkah gathering.
The Australian Broadcasting Corporation says police identified the gunman as Sajid Akram, who died at the scene, and his 24-year-old son Naveed, who remains in custody at the hospital. Authorities saying the younger man's name had come up in a previous investigation in 2019.
The massacre claimed 15 lives, a 10-year-old girl, a former police officer, two well-known rabbis.
The life was like leaving him, and then he just went.
Also killed, an 87-year-old Holocaust survivor who came to this idyllic spot to find peace and whose last act was to shield his wife. The horror attack has left dozens in the hospital. But officials say it would have been worse if not for Ahmed Al-Ahmed. The Sydney shopkeeper and Syrian immigrant tackled a gunman single-handed. He remains in the hospital after being shot, his parents proud. Hailed as a hero around the world.
And saved a lot of lives, so very brave person.
Some here asking how the alleged gunman amassed an arsenal in a country famous for strict gun control. Australia's Prime Minister today says laws may need to be even tougher and that more will need to be done to help the nation's Jewish community. A prominent Jewish leader here, whose friend died in the attack, says his community has been warning the government of a dangerous rise in anti-Semitism.
I can't imagine a time when the Jewish community will feel safe without looking over their shoulders.
The vigil continues at Bondi as those here grieve that the most famous beach in Australia is now also the most notorious.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I mean, what a mess. And how sad it is for all the people who lost their lives. Now, that man is a hero. He gets shot. And right now he is fighting for his life. Now think about that. In the middle of all the hate, someone chooses courage. And that doesn't really happen that much anymore. All you do, you see people like, you see someone fighting or something happening, and people are just like out there with their phones taping it, and you're like, are you going to help? Are you going to, I can't tell you what to do. I know people feel like their lives are in jeopardy or whatever, but I'm the kind of person that would try to help. In the middle of the chaos, someone chooses to protect strangers. That's huge. And still, the cost is enormous there. And this happened as Hanukkah begins, as Christmas approaches. And these are two holidays that are centered on light. And instead, these communities are grieving. Anti-Semitism, make no mistake about it, everyone. It is on the rise. And that's just a fact. It's louder, it's more open, it's more dangerous. You cannot ignore it in this one. And when hate is allowed to grow unchecked, it's not just going to stay online, it's going to show up in real life. Now, let's talk about Australia, because I hear the gun rights NRA heads are like, see, it can happen in Australia. Let's just show, this is the rate of gun deaths per 100,000 people. And this was 2019. It's probably gone up since then. No, I just want you to look at that. Don't compare Australia or any other country to us. Don't even try it. It just makes you look stupid and dumb. Australia did a gun buyback it was in 1996. There's significant national programs, most famously the 1996 mandatory buyback after the Port Arthur massacre, which removed 650,000 newly banned firearms. And more recent, state-level voluntary schemes like Western Australia's 2024 initiative offering compensation for unwanted firearms to reduce gun violence and unregistered weapons, leading to major firearm removals and ongoing debates about their effectiveness in reducing deaths. And Australian officials, did you hear that? They said that They're even considering stricter gun legislation. What would we do? Now is not the time to talk about that. They're trying to take our guns away. They want to get rid of our Second Amendment rights. Let's make gun laws even laxer. I mean, it's just so stupid, people. You can't even compare. We are, I thought something maybe would happen after Charlie Kirk's death, where they would go, oh, okay, wow, this is some bullshit. Look, the stuff that he talked about, and now he's a victim of it. Maybe we need to rethink all of this. But instead, they just double down. It's just bizarre. And this is the whole right to life crowd. If you have a right to life, then you have a right not to be gunned down in public. So when you step back and you look at all of these things together, all of it together, let me make sure that I played everything that I wanted to play. I think so. And you look at all these things together, you see a through line, because you see their guns, right? Hate, mental health, addiction, and stigma. So much stigma. We are so afraid of being judged. We're so afraid of what people are going to say, so afraid of admitting something is wrong, so afraid of changing our minds over gun laws. And, well, maybe it will work. Because, look, if it doesn't work, then you can change the legislation and go back to it. People aren't going to stop manufacturing guns. We fight each other instead of dealing with real problems. We politicize everything. Everything is polarized. We turn suffering into talking points. And in the meantime, people are dying. Students, families, communities, cultural icons like Rob Reiner. And it does not have to be this way. It really doesn't. Common sense is not radical. Compassion is not weakness. Asking for help doesn't mean that you're a failure. So if we could just stop fighting each other long enough to agree on some of the basics, that guns should not be this easy to access, common sense, that hate should be confronted early on, that it should not be proliferated on the internet, that there should be content moderation around people who are preaching hate and bigotry and racism and all of those things. And we should not have a president who is the biggest hate monger of them all, who is the grossest, vilest, and sickest of them all. And it would seem that he's dealing with some mental health issues. Mental health and addiction should be treated like health issues, not shameful secrets. Because that's the part that's going to get people killed, is the secrets. We may not stop, we can't stop every tragedy. But we have to stop pretending that this is normal. And this morning, that's all that I'm asking you. Stop pretending this is normal. Let's stop accepting that this is as the cost of doing nothing. Because the cost of doing nothing is too much. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Your support means the world to us. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss a show. We're live every weekday at 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Time, with new clips dropping at 2 p. and 8 p. And if you want even more Don Lemon Show content, join the Lemon community. Members get exclusive posts, behind-the-scenes videos, and live chats just for you. So hit the join button or visit our channel page to sign up. Thanks again for all your love and your support, and I'll see you next time.